I was having some fun with uh, this. This is how the information sort of came together between mirrors, as above, so below. I figure most people understand how that works. Imagine you're up above, looking through the event monitor, much like the way that they showed it in that movie called Free Guy, where you have these people who were game developers through the server, right, are outside the game, but they can communicate from where they are through their laptop, right, where they are above into the avatar that they're in down below, like inside of a game, a virtual world. So, in other words, the real world that you're at can communicate to the virtual world you're also at in an avatar. A computer terminal like this is an avatar. A computer terminal, a supercomputer, right? So the way that this is sort of easily translatable is I have a dear friend, a dear soul, Michelle, and we bounce things back and forth, which is called the level at which you operate at, because it means that you have reached a level of learning, which is the speed of your magnetic drive, your soul consciousness, to operate on a certain level because of the level of awareness that you have based on the speed of your volcano, which is your consciousness, which is your soul consciousness, is based on your mirror and your spirit that is in that mirror, which is what love is, right? So when you realize you came in here to do a job in an avatar, but you realize that this isn't where you normally operate at. In this case, I knew as a child, I do not operate at this density. And so they're like little reminders or informers that you become aware of, as above, so below, the mirrors of the communication between where you are up there, outside, to what you become aware of inside. So I began thinking about when I was really, really young, because my parents, even later, when I was later in my 20s, my mother and father were sort of amazed that I could remember things at such an early, early age. You know, almost like a photographic memory, but that can also be a curse of what you don't want to hold in memory, that you experience it to not represent what love is, and there's ways in which we dump all that, right? But here is a good example, okay? Even though it might seem graphic to record it. But nevertheless, it's true when you understand being inside and outside, because like right now, I'm logged out, but I'm communicating, I'm in here communicating to you. But when I go outside, plant my feet to the biggest magnetic drive, look up at the sun, and I'm gifting love, gifting love, gifting love. The spirit of the wind comes up to greet me, right? It's just so cool, right? And I'm going, I know, I can see you up there. I'm up there too. Okay. That's why I realized throughout my life, I'm releasing information to me of what I'm aware of up there that I become aware of down here. But there are obviously security protocols related to that, because once they become aware of it in here, right? I become aware of it in here. It becomes aware of it in here. That's why it was scanning, looking for dates, in which it's going to shut off, which basically is like in the movie Free Guy, when all of a sudden you see all these the fake architecture that was running through deadlight, which is artificial light, it's collapsing on itself, which means it can't rebuild itself. And what you saw before that was the guy who was the game developer. He was the guy with the key codes. He thought he had the key codes, but Keys, that was his name, had the keys of the original build, the original architect. Because he was able to save the blue shirt guy. Okay. It's a funny movie, but it shows you how game developers build build motherboards, constructs, virtual artificial holograms. Same principle, running on RAM, read active memory, right, with a hard drive, or if this will, a magnetic shield volcano drive. A galactic tornado. And so the immediate tie-in to realizing, oh no, I wanted to comment and I wanted to subscribe to a channel with a woman who was singing beautiful notes of music from Mongolia. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Coming together through music and spirit with Mother Earth, right? So when I hit the subscribe button, it said I had to sign in, right? So that's what happens when I go plug in and do that work. You're inside, outside. So here is an example. When I was a child, my mother told me later in life that I potty trained myself. You know what self-directed learning is, right? Which means you're running a high-speed drive, which means I don't need you to show me how to do this. I know how to do this. Remember when I mentioned with my father, where did you learn how to do all this? You haven't even been to school yet. Well, that would actually apply to potty training myself. Okay. And the reason that I say this is because at this density in where it is up there being pure energy, it's not the same, which means I don't have to take a poop. Imagine that, right? Wastewater, treatment plant, getting rid of garbage in, garbage out, or high vibrational stuff coming out. That's why, what's his name? Dr. Sebas, I believe is his name. Bless his heart, he's not here with us now. I talked about mucus generation and starches, acid and alkaline, electrical plant power, and all that. How, for example, poop that actually comes out is great fertilizer and doesn't smell. And now you get into why it does smell and why it wouldn't smell, and how poop can actually have a fragrance like a flower. What? Right? Garbage in, garbage out. Energy in, energy out. Pure energy in, pure energy out. Nothing but pure energy. Right? Pure consciousness, pure light that is in that spirit with that soul in non-matter form. Imagine that. Right? So there's no need to poop because there's no need. There is no time difference between input and output because there is no time. They're just pure light, consciousness, energy, eternal light. Eternal light, eternal consciousness. Right? Okay, so when you perceive that and have experienced something like that, you understand the purity of that energy and spirit, which is just pure energy. Right? So there's no time difference between what goes in you and what comes out of you. That's how you can measure the speed of the density here, because that's how I do it wherever I go on the planet, is how fast I'm discharging through all the orifices, right? Which includes your breathing. Remember, injection, absorption, inhalation, and consumption, right? Injection, what you inject into yourself, like through an IV, right? And then what comes out of you, you get rid of it through piss and plasma, and then having a bowel movement, right? Your tears, perspiring, sweat lodges, all that. Yeah, that's getting rid of waste product, detoxifying your body from what you're exposed to. Now you're processing that waste product, which is a waste product metabolism based on the density that we're operating at here. Right? Okay, so my mother told me that she said you potty trained yourself in less than 6 months. So imagine you're up above and I'm observing myself taking a poop at 4 months of age. Hey, buddy, you got to get up to speed on this. Because you know what my mother told me? She said I could not stand to be in poop. Okay, just like you got to get rid of that as fast as you possibly can. I don't like to have to do that. Which sort of meant that I told my mother I don't like to have to experience taking a poop because that's just not a pleasant experience. So I'm trying to get rid of it so that I don't have to experience what it is that I just experienced as a result of input-output. Whoa, really? Yeah. So as above, so below. In other words, I was communicating myself down there before I was 6 months of age. Hey, get up to speed, buddy. Let me show you how to do this. The communication was coming through my software, right? It was informing me of how to do that. See how that works? As above, so below. So in other words, you're speeding up the communication, which means you're learning fast. Yeah, right? That's called speed of learning, which is torque speed in your magnet, which is what your love is, which is what your light is. So you're learning at a very high rate of speed, right? And that's really an eternal blessing of the higher intelligence of what love is. Love is a communication. It's an energetic communication that you experience through your heart as information. You become aware of it. Thank you. And that really is the relationship that you have with living light, which is living consciousness with a soul and a spirit that is guiding you. And so you know that you have shared company in living spirits that communicate with you because you have a shared relationship with them, because all living temples of sacred spirits of light, which is living light with a living soul, is sacred. As we celebrate all living spirit of sacred light, which are sacred temples with our souls. Simple is as simple does. Occam's razor, baby. Have a great evening. Love you all.